Okay, let's just cut right through all the confusion around healthy eating for a minute.
A daily routine where, well, every meal is delicious, it's guaranteed healthy, and it's actually engineered to cost you less than, say, a coffee a day.
Yeah, we're talking about basically eliminating food waste and, finally getting a handle on those confusing, often really high grocery bills. That's the promise, really, behind what we're calling smart senior nutrition. So we've been diving into a whole set of sources, quite a few actually, that lay out this. It feels revolutionary, but it's also incredibly simple system. Our mission here today is to really give you the blueprint for this structure. It's a plan specifically designed for older adults, people who want to eat really well, save some serious money, and honestly, just get back some peace of mind around cooking and meals.
And it's so needed because this system is tackling a challenge that, frankly, standard diet advice just often ignores. See, as we get older, our nutritional needs, they
Right.
change
Right.
radically. You actually need fewer total calories. But, and this is the crucial part the sources hammer home,
Yeah.
you need significantly more essential nutrients packed into every single bite you take.
Huh. That sounds like a biological paradox almost. It's like a quality over quantity game where there's just no room for empty calories.
Precisely. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. The focus has to get laser sharp. We need really robust protein intake to fight off sarcopenia. That's the muscle loss that happens with age. Then calcium and vitamin D, they become absolutely non-negotiable for keeping bones strong. And fiber. Oh, fiber is so often overlooked. But it's critical, not just for digestion, which people know, but for long-term heart health too. Now imagine layering those very specific physical needs on top of the mental and sometimes physical effort of meal planning, doing the grocery shopping, dealing with today's food prices.
Yeah.
It gets overwhelming fast. And what happens? Many older adults just end up defaulting to easier, maybe less healthy, often more expensive options, just out of sheer exhaustion.
Okay. So let's unpack the system then, because the core idea, the genius of smart senior nutrition, seems to lie in its structure, its constraints even. The whole concept, right, is built around a daily meal plan, giving you exactly 3 pre-vetted choices for breakfast, 3 for lunch, and 3 for dinner. That's it. 9 total choices for the day.
hmm And that constraint, that's the key. That unlocks the results. It really seems to be. And the absolute non-negotiable rule is this. Every single one of those meal options, it uses 3 ingredients or fewer.
That rule basically forces simplicity. It forces health and, crucially, affordability. It kind of turns your daily eating into, I don't know, like a small, familiar, always satisfying restaurant menu. You know exactly what you need, and you know what you're going to eat, no guesswork.
And what's so interesting from a sort of scientific perspective is that this simplicity, it isn't just about shaving 5 minutes off cooking time. No, it's rooted in behavioral health. This system uses what researchers call structured variety.
Okay, but hold on. Packing high nutrient density into just 3 ingredients? I mean, that sounds tough. Doesn't that kind of strict rule just lead to boredom? People falling off the plan?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's exactly what the system is designed to preempt. Structured variety means you do have 9 distinct options. That's enough choice to stop you getting bored over weeks, even months. But critically, it's not so much choice that it causes decision fatigue or stress. You know that feeling, right? Staring into a full fridge
Yeah.
and just not being able to choose anything. When you eliminate that paralysis, compliance, especially among seniors, it just jumps dramatically.
So we're basically applying like retail psychology principles to a health issue. The real genius isn't just the food, it's the choice architecture itself.
Exactly right. And when you streamline everything down to this core set of choices, the practical benefits are huge. You save time, obviously. You drastically cut down on food waste because you're only ever buying very specific things. And you get consistency in your eating habits. No complex calorie counting needed, no fiddly recipe tracking. Just pick one of the 3 options when it's time to eat. Simple.
Okay, now here's where I think it gets really interesting for people listening. How this structure actually translates into real savings, the affordability piece. This plan works financially because it deliberately leans on very specific, nutrient-packed, but traditionally low-cost staple foods.
Yeah, we're talking about those powerhouse foods you find in almost any pantry. The real heroes that give you maximum nutritional bang for your buck. Think rice, beans dried or canned, both work oats, lentils. Frozen vegetables are key, and eggs. These are like the foundational building blocks. They deliver that essential protein and fiber seniors need, but without needing fancy, high-cost specialty ingredients.
And the sources we looked at really emphasize the buying strategy too. It's not just what you buy, but how.
Mm.
They strongly suggest buying the non-perishable stuff, the rice, beans, oats in bulk. They even mention warehouse stores like Costco or Sam's Club. Doing that just massively cuts the cost per serving, and it makes sure you have what you need for the whole month consistently.
Hmm. And if you connect that to the reality of, say, a fixed income, which many seniors are on, the numbers become maybe the most impressive part. Our sources suggest that many seniors using this kind of structured approach can eat extremely well, getting all that protein, fiber, even fresh or frozen produce for potentially under $300 a month.
Hmm.
Now, depending on where you live, that could easily be a 30, 40, even 50% saving compared to what they were spending before. It's significant.
Wow. Okay, let's make this really concrete for everyone listening. What do these easy three-ingredient meals actually look like on a plate? Let's start with breakfast, kind of the energy anchor for the day, right? So your three choices.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a simple bowl of oatmeal, just mixed with some frozen fruit, quick and easy. Or maybe it's two eggs, scrambled quickly with a handful of frozen spinach thrown in. Or maybe a cup of Greek yogurt, maybe topped with a few berries, frozen or fresh.
And see, that menu structure is really smart because it makes sure every breakfast choice is protein forward right off the bat. That helps stabilize blood sugar from the start of the day. It helps prevent that mid-morning energy slump that often leads to, unhealthy snacking or reaching for processed stuff. And notice how simple the grocery list becomes. It's basically just three categories: oats or eggs or yogurt, plus whatever fruit component you pick. Super simple.
Okay, moving on to lunch. Lunch often needs to be fast and easy, right? Especially if you're maybe just cooking for yourself. So for lunch, you could choose something.
And this really shows the smart use of those cost-efficient resources we talked about. Canned goods, frozen foods. They are nutritional powerhouses. They're often picked right at peak freshness, so they hold on to their vitamins really well.
Yeah.
But they completely bypass the cost and, importantly, the spoilage issues you get with only buying fresh produce.
This directly tackles that common problem for seniors. Buying fresh veggies that go bad before they can eat them all. Less waste automatically means lower real costs.
Right, that makes total sense. Okay, and finally dinner. Usually the biggest meal, but we're still sticking to that three-ingredient rule. So dinner options. You might go for that classic perfect protein pairing. Rice and beans. Simple, filling, nutritious. Or maybe a portion of pasta, just topped with a simple jarred or canned tomato sauce. Again, super easy. Or maybe some quinoa, served with a side of steamed frozen vegetables, like broccoli or green beans. All of those are balanced, they're filling, they're high in fiber, and crucially, they are extremely simple to maybe batch prepare earlier in the week and just reheat, especially if you're cooking for one or two. It just takes all the guesswork out of that biggest meal, the largest caloric commitment of the day.
It seems almost too simple sometimes, this really efficient, really constrained model. Where did this structure even come from? It feels like it was designed by, I don't know, logistics people, not necessarily chefs.
Well, that's because, in a way, it kind of was. The sources we look at confirm this system is definitely inspired by the efficiency models used by big organizations. Organizations that have to feed large numbers of people, reliably, cheaply, and healthily, often for long periods, and under really strict logistical limits. Think military mess halls, or maybe those remote work camps like mining or construction sites.
Ah, okay. That makes perfect sense now. If you absolutely have to ensure consistent, high-quality nutrition long-term, especially when resources might be limited or delivery is complex, well, you have to ruthlessly cut out complexity.
Exactly.
It's all about optimizing for efficiency and consistency above everything else. But what's really great about it is, while the structure is super organized and affordable, it's not actually rigid. That foundation allows for a surprising amount of flexibility. Because the ingredients are such simple staples, the basic plan can be easily tweaked for personal health needs. You can switch the type of pasta or rice if you need to manage diabetes. You can choose low-sodium canned goods. You could swap out eggs for tofu if you're vegetarian. The underlying structure, it holds firm whatever substitutions you make.
Now, what really stood out to me as like the ultimate convenience layer is how this structure gets brought into the 21st century. With tech support, you mentioned the Stephen Anthony Morono Foundation, SAMMF. They're actually developing a companion app for this, an app that basically automates the whole system, turns it from just a meal plan into like a full management tool. Yeah, and this is where the structure becomes almost effortless for the senior using it. The app is designed to take the mental load right out of the equation. It helps manage your food inventory, it knows what you've eaten, and then it automatically updates a rolling, optimized shopping list for the month, based purely on those 9 meal choices you're cycling through. And then the final piece, the really critical step, it actually automates the online grocery order itself.
Exactly.
And the sources really highlight the speed and convenience this offers. Your groceries, those specific staples you need for the month, can literally arrive at your door in maybe as little as 2 hours in some places. This completely removes the need to drive, to lift heavy bags, to navigate confusing store aisles, or even struggle with complex online ordering websites. It transforms, arguably, the hardest part of getting food, the sourcing, into just a simple automated task.
Wow, that layer of tech support. It's not just saving time, is it? It's actually providing independence. It ensures that the trickiest part of the whole equation, getting the ingredients, is handled, leaving the senior with just the easy part, the simple preparation.
Absolutely. And when you look at the results, the real-world outcomes reported by seniors who've actually adopted these kinds of structured meal plans, the benefits are incredibly consistent and positive. They consistently report much lower grocery bills, dramatically less food waste because that shopping list is so hyper-specific, and just more stable, reliable energy through the day because their diet quality is so consistent.
Which I imagine also means fewer of those moments of stress, where you end up just grabbing expensive, maybe high-calorie, last-minute takeout simply because you were too tired or too overwhelmed to cook.
Exactly. Less stress, definitely better nutrition, and more money left over at the end of the month. The fundamental philosophy here, the thing the sources really kept coming back to, it's not about deprivation. It's not restriction in a negative sense. It's about finding freedom through structure. When that biggest daily hurdle, getting consistent quality food, is made simple, automated, and affordable, it just frees up huge amounts of mental energy and financial resources, too, for seniors to really thrive.
So, what does this all really mean for you listening to this deep dive? It means healthy eating doesn't have to be this overwhelming, complicated thing or something reserved only for people with lots of money. It can actually become almost automatic. And that represents maybe one small but really critical step towards maintaining independence, maintaining vitality, and honestly just finding true peace of mind as we age.
And it's important to remember this isn't just some, anecdotal life hack we found. This whole strategy, it's supported by solid, respected sources. We're talking guidelines from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, their MyPlate for older adults, research from the National Institute on Aging, the American Heart Association's focus on low-cost, heart-healthy eating, and of course, the specialized work being done by the Stephen Anthony Morono Foundation with their Everyday Nutrition Project. It's well-grounded. So maybe we can leave you with just one final thought to chew on, something that builds on those logistical insights we uncovered today. If a system that's designed for maximum long-term efficiency under tight constraints, like those military or remote camp models, if that's the blueprint for simple, affordable, and really healthy eating, what other areas of your life, maybe time management, maybe even things like deep budgeting, could potentially benefit from applying that same kind of disciplined 3-ingredient or less philosophy? Something to think about.